Chief Prosecutor Arta Marku urges subordinates to focus on the big fish of drugs. Regarding fiscal evasion and fear, especially in the fuel market, she underlines that criminal activity cannot be carried out without the knowledge of tax administrators. Tirana, Newcastle and Panama City are the three cities that have undergone the most change in the last year. The selection was made by the World Urban Planning Forum, where Mayor of Tirana, Arion Valiai, shared projects. A day after the artists' protest for the new law on art and the relocation of the National Theatre, Culture Minister Kumbaro expressed readiness for a meeting regarding the situation. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 9th of February 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. The requirement of investigations into the oil and gas sector have been the main message from the Chief Prosecutor General, Arta Marku, for her subordinates in the accusation body of FEAR. Although the meeting was held behind closed doors, sources say Marku's statement was, "The FEAR district is one of the country's largest economies. A large number of companies operate in the private market in FEAR, including the oil and gas sector. For 2017, an extremely insignificant number have been investigated in the field of taxation, while we are aware that behaviours that violate tax legislation are numerous and often criminally punishable." According to Marku, the concealment of income cannot be achieved by commercial entities without the assistance and cooperation of the tax administration officials, who often exchange their core mission of collecting revenue for the state budget for receiving personal benefits. The referral of only criminal offences and not every evidence ascertained was another order by the Chief Prosecutor who, after FEAR, travelled to Vlora to participate in their annual work analysis. Four former state officials were arrested in Durrës for abuse of public property and beach space just one day after the acting Chief Prosecutor, Arta Marku, demanded a new pace of investigations at the local prosecutory institute. Former Mayor of the Isham municipality, Sulaiman Ibrahimi, was one of three subordinates that were arrested and imprisoned as a security measure of the Court of Durrës, as they are suspected of having abused public land and lease contracts of public beaches. The arrest and imprisonment in a joint operation between the prosecution and Durrës police brings a months-long investigation involving several criminal proceedings to a close. But this is just one of the hottest files of property abuse in Durrës, as Prosecutor Afrim Shehu and the Police Chief Alfred Chepe said there are still more cases under investigation. So, while four people have already ended up behind bars, occurrences of land and beach abuses in Isham continue to be investigated, as the two representatives of the law enforcement agencies have made clear. The situation of criminality in Shkodra and the fight against it were the topics of the meetings held there by the new State Police Director, Ardi Valiu. Valiu met with the Police Director of Shkodra and his subordinates, with whom he discussed the destruction of the criminal groups accused of exploding TNT in an attack that took place in mid-January. During the serious incident, 8 people were injured, among them businessman Lulzim Kula. 3 people were arrested in connection with the attack. The strengthening of police controls, increasing the frequency of checkpoints and tracking criminal networks of narcotics or weapons trafficking were the focus of discussions amongst the police officers. In addition, it has been learned that Valiu has stated that the force of law must be enforced on all. The 30-minute meeting between Valiu and the head prosecutor of Shkodra, Anton Martini, saw a discussion about the collaboration between the blue uniforms and the prosecution body under the framework of the force of law operation to fight corruption in the ranks of local officials. Minister Jafai and Prime Minister Rama congratulated the developments in the relations between the police and the prosecution, while further arrests are expected. Enlargement Commissioner Johannes Hahn has sent Pristina a clear official message that the European Union's strategy for the Western Balkan countries does present a perspective for Kosovo as well. In an interview for Serbian information television N1, Hahn underlined that the continuation of bilateral talks with Serbia is necessary for this. I hope that dialogue resumes as soon as possible, because I think there is an urgency. Here, I have to say that the strategy gives a perspective for Kosovo also. Therefore, the Kosovar people should have an interest in the positive result of this dialogue, as it serves not only Serbia, but also Kosovo, explained Johannes Hahn. The Enlargement Commissioner expects Pristina and Belgrade to reach a solution within the next year. We did not propose a date intentionally because the negotiations are not easy. We need to give the involved parties the space to find a lasting legal solution. In the end, the quality of the process is more important than speed. But we hope to find the right solution next year, added Hahn. Asked if the Western Balkans membership strategy is a product of aggressive Russian influence in the region, the Enlargement Commissioner answered by stating, any country wishing to be part of the European Union must act in accordance with the foreign policy of the Union. The World Urban Planning Forum lists Tirana next to Newcastle and Panama City as the three cities that have undergone the most change over the last year. The forum was held in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where the Mayor of Tirana shared that the projects that have transformed Tirana, as well as the ongoing vision for the future. I am very happy that Tirana has been selected as one of the three cities that has undergone the biggest change in the last year at the World Urban Planning Forum. I'm also very proud of this. I am also aware that we still have a lot of work to do, but today was an opportunity to show that with will, desire, and a collaborative effort from the whole community, from children to pensioners, we can have the city of our dreams, said Erion Veliai. Adding cycling lanes is one of the priorities of the municipality of Tirana, but work will also focus on building new schools and improving infrastructure. In a short time, we have realised major projects such as Skanderberg Square, the new bazaar, the new boulevard, and many infrastructure works. We are changing how business gets involved, the fantastic role children can play in these developments. We have even more pedestrian areas and playgrounds today that have become a reference point for the city. This makes us feel proud because today we have a more livable city, but we will continue with the construction of more schools, more cycling lanes, and with the implementation of many other projects we have for Tirana's future. Tirana has been selected by the World Urban Planning Forum as one of the three cities that, along with Australia's Newcastle and Panama City in Panama, have undergone the most change over the past year. Tirana's Mayor Erion Veliai held a two-day visit to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, as a guest at the World Urban Planning Forum, presenting the great achievements and changes that the Albanian capital has undergone. From Korcha today, the Minister of Culture, Mirela Kumbaro, announced a meeting to be held in consultation with those artists who oppose the law on art and culture and the relocation of the National Theatre. The request for confrontation with the minister was signed by about 70 artists and was followed by a strong statement by the great actor Robert Ndrenica. In response, the minister said she would speak to the actor but defended the new draft law. I'll talk to him. I'm ready to meet them and all to discuss the new law, stated Kumbaro. Meanwhile, asked about the project of the new National Theatre, which has also caused debates, the minister said that the current hall will be in operation until the day the project comes to be realised. In addition, the Turbina Centre will also be operational. The National Theatre Hall will remain open until the new project is inaugurated, added Minister Kumbaro. Meanwhile, artists are considering the possibility of protests or suspension of shows if the problem is not resolved. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.